Sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and could even keep you from the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. Welcome to the No BS Sales School podcast. I'm your host, Walker McKay. I'm going to tell you a story about somebody who is trying to sell to me and how bad they're screwing it up. I'm pretty sure they don't listen to the podcast, but if they did, maybe they need to hear a lesson anyway. So I got referred to this guy with the idea. A friend of mine who we refer a lot of business between each other said, you ought to talk to this guy. He can help you promote your business, basically. And there's some more specifics there, but I don't want to out this guy any more than that. Help you promote your business. And so I set up an appointment to talk to him. Anyway, we get on the phone and he says, man, I'm so glad to meet you. So-and-so says really nice things about you. Let me tell you what we can do for you. And he spent about 10 minutes telling me all the services they provide and how well they're going to do and how well they're going to help me and how much they're going to help me. And then he says, so you got any projects coming up? And I said, yeah, as a matter of fact, I've got a book I'm about to publish. By the way, more on that here soon, but should be available to buy mid-November. So pretty psyched about that. Hope you guys are too. It's called Some Will, Some Won't, So What, Who's Next? And it's a book it's a bunch of stories and my sales methodology and mindset and that kind of stuff. So I hope you'll look for it on Amazon or wherever else you might buy books. But anyway, he says, oh, a book. Man, can I help you with a book? I can get you all these things and he goes on for another 10 or 15 minutes. And here's what never happened. Hey, Walker, tell me what you're doing right now to promote the book. What's something that you're already doing? And how's that working for you? Would you even want to have an opportunity like this? By the way, if you did, I don't know, could you see any value in that? Do you have time to do something different? None of that stuff. On and on and on. At the end of the conversation, he goes, so man, look, I bet cash is tight, so we can make you a deal. And then he went on to cut his price and tell me he could make me that great deal. And I got to be honest with you, I was turned off by the whole thing. One of the things he did say was, I do sales training and we're going to get you so much business that you're going to hire me to teach some of the classes because you're going to have so many. And I was thinking to myself, there's no effing way I would hire you the way you're selling to me. So we ended the call. Thank goodness. I said, not ready to do anything. But he then sent me a proposal the next day. Loved our conversation, sent me a proposal. And I was like, I'm going to ignore this because I'm not going to do anything. I've already told him I'm not going to do anything. And so then he sent me an email and said, did you get my proposal? To which I did not respond. And since time, he's done everything from bumping this to the top of your inbox, where he sent me another one, to he's reached out to my cell phone 2 or 3 times, and now has emailed me 5 or 6 times asking me what my thoughts were on the proposal. Now, I told him in our phone conversation, I didn't think that his was a step I wanted to take, right? And I talked to the friend that referred me to him, said, you should call him and tell him how bad he fucked that up. And I said, I hope that he would recognize by not calling him back how bad he screwed that up. But at some point here, I think after maybe the next time he reaches out, which I think has been about 12 times so far, I'll have to reach out to him and talk to him and tell him how bad he screwed it up. So if you recognize yourself in this story, maybe not because you were selling to me, which I get, would be kind of hard anyway. I'm kind of particular. I like to buy stuff though. I just don't like shitty salespeople. But if you recognize yourself doing this to your prospects, your customers, where you spill all the stuff you can do, you tell them how great you are, all the things you can do for them without figuring out if they really are ready to do anything different. Or if you've sent out a proposal and the person hasn't responded and you've reached out 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 12, 15 times asking if they've gotten it and are they ready to go and offering to cut your price, all with no response. Recognize that's a shitty way to sell. Let me back up for a second. Here's what he could have done. Hey, Walker, so-and-so introduced us. Did she mention why she thought you and I should be talking? And I would have said, yeah. She said, you've been a good resource for her for X. He said, do you think you need that kind of stuff? And I said, I don't think so, but let's talk. At which point he would have asked me some questions about what was going on, that I had found out I had a book. What was I doing to promote it? Did I see myself wanting to spend more money with somebody different to do something different right now? At which point I would have said, no, I don't. And then we could have ended the conversation there. And maybe he could have reached back out to me in January and said, hey, last time we talked, you said you weren't ready to do anything different. My guess is you're still not ready to do anything different. I don't know what my answer would be in January. I don't know. We'll see. Right? And then he wouldn't have wasted time with the proposal. He would not have burned the emotional energy and probably the anger he has at me for not responding. And listen, I'm a little frustrated too. If you're the one that's chasing your prospect email after email after email, after text, after call, after all these things, they're not responding, get a clue. They're not going to buy. So here's what would happen. Let's pretend I said, sure, send me a proposal. Let's pretend I said that. And then I didn't respond. Here's how you should handle it. Hey, Walker, hadn't heard back from you after I sent the proposal. I'm assuming you've gone a different direction. I'll go ahead and close your file. Enjoyed our conversation. Hope our paths will cross again soon. Click. At which point I could have made a decision. I could either say, no, I'd like to talk to you. Or I could have said what I would have said, to myself, which was, good, he's offering to close my file. That means he's not going to bother me anymore. And when I'm ready to talk to him, I'll talk to him again, right? It also makes it a whole lot less uncomfortable when we talk again in a couple of months. And he said, hey, man, why'd you let me close your file? And then he could have found out that, hey, I'm just not ready to do anything right now, just like I told you. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. Yeah, I'm probably a hard prospect to sell to, but I love to buy. So don't screw that part up. Look out for my book. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? Should be available sometime mid-November. Thanks for listening. Share this with someone else who needs to hear it. Thanks for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast. If you're struggling to close deals, then I want to invite you to take my free mini course, where you'll learn the 7 most expensive sales mistakes that will cost you time, money, and credibility. So be sure to click the link in the show notes or go to www.7salesmistakes.com. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.